What we do with the first hour of our day really matters. It matters for our nervous system. It matters for our biology, for our blood sugar, our metabolism, our cortisol, and it also matters on an energetic level. So this is not another productivity hack conversation, but this is an exploration of how changing the way you start your day could actually change your life. And your default nervous system state and the thoughts you generate and the information you consume actually sets a sort of baseline for the entire day ahead. It's like setting the thermostat for the day. And even if the room gets colder or warmer as the day goes on, you've set your thermostat. I'm not exaggerating when I say developing a morning routine, a morning ceremony for myself actually did change my life. Hey, mama, welcome back to the Thrive Mama podcast. I'm Martina, certified nutrition consultant and holistic health coach, and a mama of two, and I'm so glad you're here. I am here to help busy moms unlock their energy, balance their hormones, and break out of burnout using nutrition as a foundation. So on this podcast, we will dive into actionable strategies on nutrition, nervous system healing, and aligning with your cycles with a healthy dose of relatable motherhood thrown in, all designed to help you move past surviving to actually thrive in motherhood. Let's do this. Okay, mama, I'm so glad to be connecting in with you this week. Today's episode is a little bit of an eye roll topic because Lordy knows morning routines are talked about to death as the magic pill that's going to suddenly turn you into a different person. And I typically really avoid these over trendified topics because I think we're sick of hearing about them. And if they were the magic pill everyone talked about, we would be doing them. But here's the thing about mornings. They actually kind of are life-changing when we find sustainable rhythms to reclaim them and we fill our mornings with things that recharge our mind, our body, our soul before we jump into our day. So this is not another productivity hack conversation, but this is an exploration of how changing the way you start your day could actually change your life. I'm not exaggerating when I say developing a morning routine, a morning ceremony for myself actually did change my life. I've always been one of those freaks that loved mornings. And I've tried every productivity morning hack out there. Nothing really stuck until I added the magic into my mornings in a way that I'm going to be walking you all through today. And until I really turned it into the juiciest, most soul-charging time of my entire day that I actually look forward to getting out of bed for. And this isn't just a Martina is a freak thing. I have helped clients develop their own versions of this that has really transformed their nervous system, their inner resourcing, their intentionality for their day, because there is neuroscience and behavioral science to back this up until the cows come home. What we do with the first hour of our day really matters. It matters for our nervous system. It matters for our biology, for our blood sugar, our metabolism, our cortisol, and it also matters on an energetic level. It matters for our intentionality, for our energy default state, right? The way we start our day. And I really felt this for myself when I started viewing my mornings not as a routine, but as a ceremony. And this may not resonate with everybody, but I have found this shift was really everything it took for me to get excited about starting my day this way. So what is the difference between a routine and a ceremony? A routine is pretty functional. A routine we do on autopilot. A routine is the same every day, and it sort of gets the thing done, and it takes the mental load off of thinking about getting the thing done. Ceremony, I view as a contained time and space to connect with ourselves, to connect with our soul, And if this resonates with you, to connect with the universe at large, with your guides, with God, with whatever energy you connect with. So, creating a space in the morning to connect with my soul was actually the thing that transformed how I showed up in motherhood and how I showed up in my day. Here's what happens for most moms that I talk to. We roll out of bed after snoozing our alarm 2 or 3 or 4 times. Now we're running late. Most of the kids are awake or need to be woken up so that everyone's on time. And we are immediately rushing from one thing to another, from kids who need diaper changes and lunches need to be packed, and we're dropping for the next hour or more. We are in response mode. Or if we do have time in the morning, most of us are spending it in a sort of a default distraction mode. We're immediately on our phones, checking the news, checking Instagram, checking our email. We are disconnected from ourselves and our needs before the day even starts. And it's not to say we can't rebound from like a rough morning. You totally can reset your energy, but it's hard. It's hard to do. We all can remember those mornings where everything was kind of a shit show and it was hard to like get the day back on track, right? The way we start our day matters. And for most women or mothers or anyone in a caretaking role, if we don't carve it out in the morning, it's not going to happen because we are swept into response and caretaking and work and nurturing and all these external demands in a way that pulls us completely outside of ourselves. And we're not going to make the space for this ceremony, this soul connective time, unless it happens first thing in the morning. This is true for almost everyone I have ever worked with. Now, I'm going to talk to you about what this morning ceremony time could look like for you and how to adapt it for your season of life. But first, let's just feel the difference between what we just described with the over snoozing of the alarm, with the response mode, with the hustle. Let's feel the difference between that lived experience and this one. We wake up with plenty of time before our day really has to start. The house is quiet, it's dark outside, and it is just you, yourself. No one else has needs of you for the next 20, 30, 60 minutes. You go make a nourishing, warm beverage. You sit down in a space that feels cozy and sacred, and you spend time actually checking in with your body and with your needs. Maybe you do some movement and some exercise. Maybe you do some journaling and reflection. Maybe you do some visualizations for the day ahead. But by the time you step out of ceremony space, out of your morning routine time, you are actually clear on the intentions for your day. What is actually important and what's not? Who needs you? And how do you want to show up in these spaces today? There's such a level of intentionality that can happen here. And when I implemented these morning routines in my own life about 2 years ago, I immediately felt more connected to my intuition, to my inner knowing, to my inner needs, because without that carved out time and space, we are simply responding to our life rather than being the like co-creator or the one in the driver's seat of our days. And it's not exaggerating to say that this changes your life. Truly. If this changes your morning and if the way you start your day ripples out to change your whole day, that's going to ripple out day after day after day to change your week, to change your month, to change your year. And before you know it, you are showing up for the people you love, but are also in personal growth. You are also in personal tending and connection with yourself outside of the role of mother and employee and wife and partner. Like it's really a powerful shift. So just to recap, the first hour or two after you wake up, neuroscience tells us that your brain is the most impressionable, and your default nervous system state and the thoughts you generate and the information you consume actually sets a sort of baseline for the entire day ahead. It's like setting the thermostat for the day. And even if the room gets colder or warmer as the day goes on, you've set your thermostat. So, your morning routine or your morning ceremony is a chance to set the thermostat where you want it to be. Do you want your thermostat at running late, overwhelmed, feeling behind? Do you want your thermostat at everyone needs me and I need to respond to everyone else first? Do you want your thermostat at I am recharged and connected in myself? And I've already done things to pour into my health and vitality and my happiness, truly. So even when your day gets off center, you now have a thermostat to return to. And so this isn't about productivity. This isn't about having to wake up earlier. This is about shifting from reactivity to intention. That's my desire for all of you to move through your days with more intention. And that is what morning routines and morning ceremonies really offer you. So there's really three elements to this morning time that I think are really important to like nourish, to pour into. The first one is the body, biology. Like, what does your body need to start the day grounded and energized? We're going to talk about a few strategies. The second is the mind, which I connect into the nervous system. It's sort of like thought patterns, inner clarity, default nervous system state. And the third element that really needs nourishing in the morning is our soul. This is a key piece of burnout, especially in motherhood, that I don't see talked about quite enough. The soul is the piece of you that just wants to be expressed, right? That is like joy and juice and fun and often gets stifled in our caretaking roles in our lives. So when we feel sort of like blah showing up in the home, in our work, in our families every day, it may not be that we're doing too much of all the things. It might be that we're not doing enough of the things that actually recharge our soul. And a lot of moms I talk to don't even know what those things are anymore because it's been such a journey of like pouring into others and disconnect. So it's a key element of this morning time. We do things for our body and biology. We do things for our mind and our nervous system. And we do things for our soul. Now, here's the key part of this whole idea. This gets to be flexible and it gets to change every day because as soon as your morning routine and your morning ceremony feels like something you have to show up for, it is going to dry up and you're going to lose all desire to do it. This should feel like the juiciest part of your day. It should feel like a non-negotiable, not because Martina told you to, because you like truly desire this time with yourself. And I really allow my morning ceremony to ebb and flow every day, every week, every month. It doesn't look exactly the same. It just includes elements of those three things, no matter what: the body, the nervous system, and the soul. But it can take up more or less time depending on where I am in my cycle. Am I sick? Am I solo parenting that day? What time did we get to sleep? Right? Like there's a lot of layers to this that we get to take into real life without rigidity and with like true devotion to ourselves and to this time. So I'm going to give you some inspiration about what these elements can look like, and then we'll talk through some cohesive morning ceremony examples based on how much or how little time you have. But before we do that, two disclaimers. Number one, if you are in a season of life where you are not sleeping through the night consistently, you may want to bookmark this conversation and come back to it in 3 to 6 to 9 months, okay? There are seasons of life where sleep is just the priority. And there will be seasons to come where there's a lot more predictability and you can build in systems like we're talking about today. But those early newborn days or a big sleep regression, there may be times where sleep is the priority and there's never any pressure to be the kind of mom who like gets up before her kids when actually your body just needs the rest. So just in case you're in one of those seasons and you just needed to hear that, there is always space to meet the season where you are. Now, that being said, there are also some of us out here who feel like we can't wake up earlier because we need the sleep, but we're actually losing sleep because of things within our control. You feel me? We're like staying up too late scrolling. We are prioritizing like catching up on chores instead of winding down. So we're cutting into sleep in the evening hours, and then shoot, I can't wake up early because I need the sleep. That is different than children needing us consistently, which is out of our control, versus our own sleep hygiene and sleep routines, which is in our control. So if you're in a season of life where you have control over your sleep to a certain extent, this is an opportunity to look at what needs to shift for me to carve out some morning time. Okay. There being like dishes to do in the evening and that keeps you up late is not necessarily a worthy trade for this morning ceremony time, truly. Because when we start the day depleted, it's going to trickle out into the rest of the day to the point where we're going to get into cycles where we couldn't keep up with things and we're tired and we're snappy. And then suddenly we're in a week-long cycle of there's dishes to do every night at 9 p.m. I can never wake up early because I'm always behind, right? But it actually breaks the cycle when we start with intentionality and resourcing. So I just wanted to say that really clearly. Some of us are in seasons of life where this is like a for later strategy, okay? The other thing I want to say is that these morning ceremonies should be highly personal. If you are not excited to do it, it's not going to stick, okay? So I will share some ways that you can nourish the body and the nervous system and the soul in the morning, but my morning routines are not necessarily going to resonate with you. So I'll give you a wide variety of inspirational points to start from, but I really encourage you to reflect for yourself. What would make me excited and what would charge my battery up for the day to come if I could do it for 10 or 20 or 30 minutes before the day really started? Okay, so let's start with the body first. There's 3 pieces of body nourishment that happen in my morning routine that I recommend for all my clients. Number 1, hydration, okay? Start with 32 ounces of warm lemon water with sea salt or some kind of electrolyte drink. If it's really cold and you want something warming, do some like cacao or adaptogens, right? Something caffeine free for first thing in the morning, but really like nourishing and warming. So that's number 1, hydrate. Number 2 is gentle movement. I personally find early morning is the best for things like yoga or walking or dancing. If you have a more intensive like weightlifting routine or running routine that really serves you, maybe there's space in here for that. But many bodies do respond better to the higher intensity workouts later in the day. So feel free to get like 10 minutes of movement in, maybe some yoga or a short walk, and then save your intense workout for later. If you love to wake up early and get the workout in, do it as part of this routine. Just make sure you're paying attention to the cues of your body, hydrating beforehand, and eating a nourishing breakfast pretty closely afterwards. And then the third thing is sunlight. So whenever the sun is rising at that point in the year and in where you are in the world, getting outside to get sunlight on your eyes for like 10 minutes before you jump into your day transforms your circadian rhythm, your hormonal health, your digestion, your cortisol patterns. It's so simple and so powerful. So those are 3 places I recommend everyone start: hydration, gentle movement, morning sunlight. Now let's talk about nourishing the nervous system, nourishing the mind. These first thoughts, like what we're flooding our brain with in the first hour or 2, is kind of our nervous system baseline that we're setting up. So we really want to avoid sort of like activating triggers or overwhelm. Really limit the phone. Limit external input, okay? This is a moment for our nervous system and our mind to like go in instead of absorbing from others. Meditation is one of the most powerful tools to do this. And there's a lot of styles of meditation out there. With my clients, I use meditation and guided visualizations. Both are really powerful, and I love to do both most days. If you don't know where to start, visualizations tend to be a bit more accessible for most people. And I will include in the comments a free visualization that I've recorded for busy moms that like protects our energy for the day ahead. So it sets our energy point and then helps protect it. So you can start there if you're looking for one to add in. So when we're talking about nourishing the nervous system, nourishing the mind, We're really finding internal safety through meditation, visualization, breath work, and then we are directing it with intention towards what we want our day to look and feel like. This is where we can journal or do visualization of like the most perfect playing out of the day ahead. Maybe for you, it's doing like 10 minutes of reading of like a spiritual text or prayer, right? Or something that's directing your mind where you want it to be. Maybe it's brain dumping your day and really journaling, like, what would the happiest, healthiest version of me be doing today, right? Can you feel how we're like training the mind, the nervous system, to focus on what we want, what we're calling in for our day, and to find that internal safety as a baseline? And then lastly, and I would argue the most important piece, is nourishing the soul. There are many ways to do this, and this really needs to be something that feels so alive and juicy for you. So some ways that I love to do this in the morning. Dance is one of my favorites. Like, I am seriously in my basement with music on my headphones, just like full on dancing, moving my body, getting my heart rate up before the kids wake up. I also love to use cards. This feels really nourishing to my soul. I use tarot cards, oracle cards. This is a bit of a bridge between the mind and the soul for me. But using cards to guide my intention for the day, to feel connected to my intuition and my soul. Tarot and oracle cards are a really fun way to do that. For other people, this is like prayer, or this is some kind of creative craft. You know, maybe you're like coloring for 5 minutes, maybe you're knitting, maybe you're checking in on your garden. So anything that is like, I would love to do that if I just had freaking time. Or anything that's like, I feel like myself when, right? These are the things we're doing for our soul. I think dancing is one that, even if you feel some internal resistance to, is nourishing for all of us. Like, our bodies were designed to move and express, and we don't have to be a good dancer to find joyful expression in that. So play around with, like, you're alone, no one's watching you. What does it feel like to dance full out? Because most adults moving through their lives, we like just don't move our body in that way. And it really brings our soul and body alive in a way that really is beautiful. So these are the three pillars of our morning ceremony, okay? We're nourishing the body with hydration, with movement, with sunlight. We're nourishing the mind with some internal stillness and with some visualization work or journaling work to really focus on what we want from our day. And then we're nourishing the soul with something that is fun and alive and makes us feel most authentically like ourselves, outside of being a mom, outside of being a partner, just in our own energy. And after my clients do this process consistently for a couple of weeks, a couple of months, they really find that their sense of self really evolves. They start to feel more connected to their needs, to their desires. They start to feel more like autonomy in their day. So they're not just swept along by the day, by the to-do list, by the needs of others. We are actually moving with intention. That is what this morning ceremony time can offer. Deeper connection to our soul, more authentic expression of our needs, better boundaries, better energy, and more intentionality. Now, I'm already hearing from a lot of us, I can feel it. The blocks are coming in. This sounds cool, but insert block here. I'm bed sharing. My partner works really early. My kid wakes up 5 minutes after me, no matter what time I wake up, right? Like, I'm not a morning person, whatever. There are a lot of things that can get in the way of this morning time. And in my morning routine guide, I break down a lot of them and how you can start getting creative about working with the people in your home to protect this space. So if you don't have this morning routine guide yet, there is a link below this episode. You're going to grab the free guide. It'll come right to your inbox, and you can scroll down to the page about the magic blocks and see what applies to you in this season and what are some creative strategies for making this happen. Also in that guide is a breakdown of like 5 or 6 example morning ceremonies ranging from like 10 minutes to 45 minutes. So depending on how much time you have, you can see some examples of what this looks like. For example, let's say you have literally 10 minutes in the morning before you are on full on like duty with your family and the day takes off. Before you go to bed the night before, you make sure there's like a water bottle with electrolytes next to your bed. So your alarm goes off, you begin hydrating, put your headphones in, put on a 5 minute like guided visualization, and journal about your intention for the day. How do I want to show up today? What am I calling in? And before you're done journaling, you close your eyes for a moment, put your hand on your heart, you like feel that feeling. And now we have done something for our body and for our mind. Now, for your soul, you get to decide what that looks like. For most of us, something that would transform our mornings is to then get up, turn on a song, and dance our little booties around getting ready, like fully expressed, wild, silly, crazy dancing, moving of our bodies. This added 10 minutes to your morning, but is now a ceremony, like a contained space where you woke up before you reached for your email, before you went to get the cereal, before you responded to anything outside of you, you checked in inside without needing like a fancy space, without needing your partner's support. Like we can carve out little times. I am to the point 2 years in where my morning routine is like 90 minutes long because it is my favorite part of my day and it is actually worth it to me to wake up at 5:15 because I crave that time and I've seen and lived how much it transforms my energy for the entire day, how much it changes who I am when I show up with my kids and in my work and with my partner. It's like such a sacred, non-negotiable time. So I've expanded it out because I just freaking love it. And it is worth it for me to go to bed at 9 o'clock so that I have that morning time. And I get to do yoga and I get to meditate and pull cards and journal and dance and like really be in my energy before I move into my day. You do not have to wake up at 5:15 to make this happen. But I find the more we do this practice, the more we crave this practice and the more it is worth it to carve out the time to be with ourselves before being with others. So my love, make sure you grab the guided meditation below. Make sure you grab the morning routine guide down below so that you can really dig into how to make this work in practice for your life. I would love to hear in the comments of this episode, what are you trying first? Or if you put any of this into practice, how did it feel? How did it shift your day? I love to connect with all of you. So let me know in the comments, keep me updated, or shoot me a DM over on Instagram at Luia Wellness. And if you found this episode helpful or insightful, make sure you drop a rating, give it a like, share it with a mama friend. Like the more we engage with these episodes, the more it can get into the ears of even more listeners. So thank you so much for spending your precious time with me. Next week is our luteal phase break. On this podcast, we cycle sync our episodes. So we take the last week before our period off to just really like be in the rest and internal space. So I will be back the week after with another episode. And until we meet again, take beautiful care of yourself.